In May 2020, looting, acts of violence, and arson occurred on your watch in Minneapolis after you refused to bring in the National Guard. Governor, your agenda is clear. Free health care, free college and driver's licenses for illegals while handcuffing law enforcement when they're trying to protect our citizens and their communities.
Oh, boy.
If you think that's not a sanctuary state, you shouldn't be governor. Wow. By turning Minnesota into a magnet for illegals, you have opened up our communities to dangerous criminals, including known terrorists, gang members, murderers, and child predators. You have sent a resounding message that if you're a hardworking, law-abiding citizen of Minnesota, your safety and well-being are not the priorities of Tim Walz and his administration. But if you're coming to our state illegally, you're not only welcome with open arms, you're entitled to free stuff on the taxpayer's dime. This is absolutely disgraceful. Governor Walz, your sanctuary state agenda has been defined by your utter failure. You have failed to enforce the rule of law. You have failed to uphold our national sovereignty. And most importantly, you have failed the people of Minnesota. The time for radical sanctuary state policy, sir, is over. The voters made that clear last November when they elected President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. You remember him, don't you? Yeah. Governor, the time for real leaders and real leadership is now. And with that, sir, actually, Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to introduce into the record the governor's tweet that I referenced from May 23rd, 2018, which makes it clear his hatred for federal law enforcement. Thank you.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Chair recognizes Mr. Mfume.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I have a unanimous consent.
Boy, he went in on him.
He was grilling him. It was all facts,
gosh, all facts. You know, he's sick of that radical left BS they got going on in Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota is getting...
Well, Minnesota ain't as bad as the other states, like California, Illinois, New York.
It's up there. You heard he said free healthcare, free college, all that for illegals.
What you think they're doing in LA and all that?
They got free healthcare, but free college? That's a step up, man. We got American citizens crippled by debt of college, of trying to pursue a better life. And you got illegals getting it for free?
That is crazy.
I'll never co-sign that. And you got a freaking Somali pirate as a governor in Minnesota, or whatever she is.
She's a representative.
She's a pirate.
What is a woman is the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Gay.
You couldn't answer. You can't answer that.
XX chromosomes.
Why are y'all surprised, though? He put tampons in the men's bathroom.
That's why they asked him that. Tampon Tim.
That's why they asked him that.
It's interesting. Like, why do they always find it so difficult to describe what a woman is? You have a wife and a daughter.
It's not hard.
It's really not hard at all.
His party will get mad if he doesn't say what they want him to say.
Yeah, it puts their agenda.
Man, it's interesting. These super left governors and their lack of leadership is interesting. Like, bruh, it's an easy question. XX chromosomes can have a baby.
STEM or no STEM?
Exactly. It's real. It's two genders. I will not hear nothing else. No trans, no transformers, no none of that other stuff.
Women got bigger hips than men's.
Their pelvis is like wider.
I think men should be allowed in women's restrooms.
Hey, I'm not sure why this has come to this issue.
You tweeted that as a protest against President Trump, everyone should use the other gender's bathroom today. What? Have you ever used the women's restroom?
That's weird.
Not that I can recall ever, sir.
You wanted everybody else to do it, but you didn't?
Sir, I'm not sure why we're on a topic that has nothing to do with today's hearing.
You're advocating for men to use women's restrooms, but you didn't do it?
I do not advocate that, no.
Well, actually, you did. You said everyone should use the other gender's bathroom today.
I can tell you that you are politicizing this in a way that what we ought to be focusing on is
the
failure
encouraging
of the federal
men to use women's restrooms
and the Congress to deal with immigration reform.
Do you regret encouraging men to use women's restrooms?
Again, you're taking us on topics that have.
Did you ever consider that women don't want you in their bathrooms? Restrooms.
It's interesting that he was like so ready to shut that question down.
Because we know what they stand for. We're not surprised. The people that's voting for him, they know. If he goes against that, he might not get their vote.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So you can't even.
But like that's just such a small part of the population, though. Like this far left ideology, I feel like if they want to, and this I shouldn't solicit advice to the other side because I obviously don't like these people or align with these people, but they need to move back to the center, bro.
They're not.
Some of them are realizing
they'll continue to push people to the right. The right is more centered than they are.
You saw what they did to that chairman that was a part of the Democrats that they got rid of him. So I'm not surprised.
But he's far left, so it's crazy that they did that to him. You talking about David Hogg?
Yeah, but
he's far left.
But come on, bro.
Bro, if the Democrats have any hope for the future, they have to move their party back to the center.
If you're not, for sure.
I feel like
there's more diversity of thought on the right than there is on the left.
If you're not trans or an immigrant, they don't care about you.
We're on the floor of the House of Representatives, not debating legislation that is designed to make this country and our economy more affordable, but actually debating legislation that targets Elmo
I don't give a fuck about no goddamn Elmo.
and Big Bird and Daniel Tiger and Sesame Street. That's what we're doing by going after public broadcasting in the United States of America. Sesame Street of the House.
It's much deeper than that, though, because they're saying we're just worried about Sesame Street. No. We're worried about all the crazy ideology and the crazy woke stuff that y'all put on television all the time. It's been a reoccurring theme. It's been a problem with not just Sesame Street, but with Disney, with even the NFL, with the NFL is gay thing and all that. It's just like media, people really perceive how the world is a lot by the things they consume. So whenever you push this down people's throats and other people who don't agree with that don't want to see that, you call it divisive. When it's not.
The minority leader held up a Sesame Street character here on the floor as if Sesame Street's somehow going to go away. I was just watching a commercial on TV yesterday where the Cookie Monster was actually doing an advertisement for Netflix.
Wow.
Because a private company is paying money to run Sesame Street. It's not going away. It's doing just fine. Very lucrative. What will go away
Why would they care about
is
that?
some of the far left radical views that are being espoused. You can, by the way, when this goes away at NPR, you can still turn on about 6 or 7 other channels and get the same far left radical views, but they're all going to be private companies, Mr. Speaker, not taxpayer funded entities. If somebody wants to pay money to go on one of their services that they stream or get over the top or however they get their digital content, they can still do that. And there are a lot of options. Never been more options. Some people joke that they buy their services for their cable or whatever else they get, and that there's 200 channels, and they might only watch 4 or 5 of them. There is still going to be a plethora of options for the American people. But if they're paying their hard-earned dollars to go get content, why should your tax dollars go to only one thing that the other side wants to promote?
Wow.
Let everybody compete on a fair basis.
Yeah.
So, they can still watch Sesame Street in Iraq, but let the Iraqi people pay for it, not the taxpayers of the United States, of America's children. Today's taxpayers aren't paying for it because it's all borrowed money.
Damn.
See, that is a great.
That was a great point.
Because
Louisiana,
Yeah.
Metairie, Covington,
New
Orleans.
No, it's great that he addressed that. Like, why the other side is the ones that want to push it because they want what's on it. They want their funding to stay there so their agenda can get pushed. And why are we paying for it in Iraq? Why do we care what they see on television? Why are we paying for that?
The left get from pushing woke around the world?
Wokeness to spread around the world.
Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you let my hands go, it's right behind my back.
All right. Cool. Other hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording loud out here.
I did not. Ground. On the ground.
So this is Democrat Senator Alex Padilla, who was just arrested. Did you see why he was arrested?
No.
He tried to bomb a press conference with Kristi Noem, ran in there screaming, and they had to manhandle him.
So not bomb like.
Oh no, he was trying to
run in there,
interrupt it.
Yeah, but not
interrupt, not like boom. No,
I was like.
He tried to interrupt it and arrested him.
I see. All right.
So this is his comments after he was detained.
Senator Alex Padilla. You guys have some questions. I'm going to read a brief statement. I will not be taking questions, but allow me to read my statement. I'm here in Los Angeles today, and I was here in the federal building, in the conference room, awaiting a scheduled briefing from federal officials as part of my responsibility as a senator to provide oversight and accountability. While I was waiting for the briefing with General Guillot,
is he gonna cry?
I learned that Secretary Noem was having a press conference a couple of doors down the hall. Since the beginning of the year, but especially over the course of recent weeks, several of my colleagues have been asking the Department of Homeland Security for more information and more answers on their increasingly extreme immigration enforcement actions. And we've gotten little to no information in response to our inquiries. And so I came to the press conference to hear what she had to say, to see if I could learn any new additional information. And at one point, I had a question. And let me emphasize, just as we've emphasized the right for people to peacefully protest and to stand up for their First Amendment rights, for our fundamental rights. I was there peacefully. At one point, I had a question. And so I began to ask a question. I was almost immediately forcibly removed from the room. I was forced to the ground, and I was handcuffed. I was not arrested. I was not detained. I will say this. If this is how this administration responds to a senator with a question, if this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers, to cooks, to day laborers out in the Los Angeles community and throughout California and throughout the country.
So all of that was to say he's against he's with illegal immigration.
Pretty much, yeah.
That was the gist of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because
he got manhandled and arrested and detained.
He said, I was coming to ask a question. What was your question? You didn't even say what your question was.
While she was
in the middle of
a press conference, he was, I have a question. I have a question. He ran in. I have a question. I have a question.
What was your question right now? Why didn't you say it right there? You had no question. You just wanted to cause a ruckus because you want to show that I have moral, I care about the immigrants, so I'm going to show I'm fighting for you guys. Facts. That's what he was doing.
That's 100% what he was doing.
Doing his job, asking questions about what is taking place in California, the state that he represents, and on behalf of the American people. And he was recklessly and aggressively manhandled. That was unacceptable. It was unconscionable. It was unpatriotic. It's un-American. And every single person who was involved in manhandling Senator Padilla should be held accountable to the full extent of the law. Yes. So this is not going to end until there is accountability and until the Trump administration changes its behavior. This administration is not about law and order. It's about lawlessness and disorder. And that's what we've seen from day one of the Trump administration. He was at that press conference doing his
job, asking questions.
I don't think that was his job.
Yeah, his job is not to try to interrupt a national recorded press conference for clicks on the internet, for performance. It's all performance. It's all theater. And this is the theater captain of the government. The theater club captain.
Come on, bro.
Of the actor kids. This is pathetic. The game's is over. We ain't falling for this ish no more, y'all.
He need to go back on Sesame Street, man.
Hochul, on your first day in office, you signed Executive Order 1. Is that correct?
I believe it is.
And you extended this executive order not once, not twice, but 3 times, most recently January 16th this year. Is that correct?
If that's what your facts show, I signed countless executive orders.
I would assume you'd know it's Executive Order 1. And this is a continuation of your predecessor's sanctuary state policies, correct? Is included in that.
I want to be sure we are defining sanctuary state properly.
I'll define it for you. It is the policy of the state that state officers or employees shall not disclose information to federal immigration authorities for the purpose of federal civil immigration enforcement. It goes on to say, law enforcement officers may not use resources, equipment, or personnel for the purpose of detecting and apprehending any individual suspected or wanted for violating a civil immigration office. Law enforcement officers have no authority in the state of New York to take any policy action solely because the person is an undocumented alien. That's a quote in your executive orders that you extended. Now, do you know who Sakir Akan is?
I want to get back to the first part.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you know who Sakir Akan is?
I want to make sure you understand that this simply says that we will cooperate with ICE.
No, it does not say that. I read what it says, and let me talk to you about the results. Do you know who Sakir Akan is? You should, as the governor of New York State. Do you know?
Refresh my recollection.
He was an illegal migrant in New York. And do you know what crime he committed in addition to being here illegally?
No, I do not.
You do not. This was widely reported. He found a 15-year-old girl, threatened her with a metal pole, told her to get into the back seat of his car. He took her clothes off, and he violently raped her in Albany, New York.
Damn.
Do you know who Sebastian Zapita Khalil is?
I'm sure you'll tell me there's many cases, whether they're
These are high-profile cases. Yes. New Yorkers know about them, and you don't. So let's talk about Sebastian Zapita Khalil. Do you know who that is?
I don't have the specific details at my disposal, no.
Well, this is an illegal migrant in New York because of your sanctuary state policies. Do you know what crime he committed?
I'm not familiar at this moment.
I bet you're going to be familiar when I remind you. He found a sleeping woman on the subway, lit her on fire, and burned her alive.
Yeah, I was right.
This is in Kathy Hochul's New York. And as I'm sure you are aware, and I'll remind you, that ICE issued an order to detain this violent criminal, but that was rejected by New York officials
due
to sanctuary state laws. Whoa. Now, do you know who Raymond Rojas Basilio is?
I just want to say this. These crimes are horrific.
Because of your sanctuary state policies.
In all of these cases, we would work with ICE to remove them.
You did not in this case. They are walking on the streets because of your policies and your executive order that you signed 3 times. Now, Raymond Rojas Basilio, do you know who that is?
I'm telling you this. I will explain to you the policies of New York. We cooperate with. I know you're just trying to.
You do not. Specifically, ICE was told not to detain this individual, and he burned a woman alive on the New York subways in Kathy Hochul's New York. So I will keep on going. What about Raymond Rojas Basilio? Do you know who that is?
No. I'm going to tell you our overall policy, which will address all this.
I'll tell you who that is. He is an illegal who molested an 11-year-old in our state because, again, of your sanctuary state policies. Damn. This illegal was shielded from federal immigration enforcement and able to commit this heinous crime. And what about Wilson Castillo-Diaz? Do you know who that is?
I'm telling you this. We do cooperate fully with ICE in criminal prosecution. Our sanctuary.
You're not advocating for these victims. This is a 5-year-old who was raped on Long Island in Nassau County. You are not advocating on behalf of these victims. You are shielding illegals. Even in your opening statement, you prioritize putting illegals first.
That is not
Rapes of young girls, beatings of NYPD cops by illegals who are here under Kathy Hochul's failed policies, burning New Yorkers alive. This is Kathy Hochul's New York. It's one of the many reasons why you're hemorrhaging support from hardworking New York families.
These are horrific crimes, and they're heartbreaking.
They're horrific crimes that are committed on your watch. You signed this executive order on your first day in office. You signed it again and again this January. We deserve a governor who stands up for law-abiding New Yorkers, doesn't put illegals first, but actually puts New Yorkers first. I appreciate
rather than going after the viral moment, I suggest you look at the facts.
I'm standing up for New Yorkers. No. Rather than addressing the illegals in New York, you are prioritizing your far-left sanctuary state policies, which you put in place with executive orders. Instead of advocating for victims, a 5-year-old who was raped, you did not. They were released because of sanctuary state policies in New York State. No amount of words is going to clean up your failed record and these horrific crimes committed in sanctuary state that you created. And with that, I yield back.
Your representation, the facts, absolutely false.
Yields back.
Absolutely
Chair recognizes Ms. Norton.
She absolutely curb stomped her.
I wanted to know, the dude that did set that person on fire, did he actually get released? Because
yes, she just said it.
That's true.
She said that they was refusing to cooperate with
I think
ICE.
he got released before he did it.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. That was the most like horrific shit I had ever seen when he was sitting outside watching them burn.
Yeah, he sat and watched.
sat and did this.
I gotta keep it 100, man. That alone, I can never feel bad when I see the crying illegals. Y'all have to get out. Y'all have to get out. You have to get out. Bottom line. The fact that they brought in Governor Pritzker, Tim Walz, and Hochul and put them on the hot seat and grilled them on their policies and how they're failing Americans, I love it. I love it. This is exactly what we need.
Yeah, bro. It's just like, okay, so what is the pro to not deporting the illegals? Some people get to stay. Some of them are good people, and, you know, that's good for them. Okay. What are the cons to not deporting the
Americans
illegals?
raped, murdered, and burnt to death.
Here are some cons. Not to include the taxes, not to include the housing shortage, not to include the schools and like all that. It's just like,
they don't speak English. We got to pay for them to live. They taking up space. The
black community. Do y'all think the black community is oppressed? Would all y'all on the left agree with that? Yes. Okay, so they put them in the oppressed communities, right?
And they already got no leg up.
So does that help the black people?
No.
Oh, so it doesn't help black people. It doesn't help Americans. Does it help legal immigrants?
No, because now they get a bad rap because they grouped in with them.
Wow. So who does it help?
It helps the governors at the top getting votes.
Yeah.
The government officials that get votes.
So they can keep their power and tell people what they want to hear.
Oh, so house seats.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all about power.
Wow.
And then just say, if you have to have voter ID, it's racist.
That is insane. Is driver's license racist?
Yes.
But you got to know how to drive.
So that's not a God-given right, brother.
What? It's not a God-given right.
They believe you don't even know how to carry around your driver's license or operate a laptop.
They say you should just get on the road with no license or nothing, just drive. A 15-year-old should be able to do that.
And
too.
if I get pulled over and thrown in jail, I'm being oppressed.
Yeah. Shit, this shit crazy, man.
It makes 0 sense, zero logic, y'all. We out of here.